The flame trench platform was rolled under the static fire stand at Massey's. The long-awaited SQD arm extension finally makes an appearance at Sanchez. Ship 39 is staged ready to have its aft section rolled out at the build site, and at the launch site, OLM-1 is cut to pieces with all legs now isolated from each other. Welcome to episode 107 of Starbase Flyover Update. Climb on board as we cover the last week's developments of Starbase. This week's flyover took place on the 15th of November 2025. My name's Jeff A, and we are set to join RGV Aerial Photography for a flyover to enjoy the views from 6,000 feet of Starbase, Texas. Let's start over at the Massey's rocket testing facility. Before we begin, here's a labelled map created by Proky to help you find your way around the site. Now, beginning at the flame trench, the movable platform that covers the trench has been moved underneath the static fire stand. This allows SPMTs to roll under the stand so it can be moved in the future. Boxes containing the flex lines for the QD are staged on the approach ramp. Here's an image captured by Sean Giesler from the Rio Grande Riverside. We can see that these lines should be installed soon. Moving to the fluids bunker, covers have been installed on the shielding, protecting the pipework exits. Rebar has been installed on one side of the bunker to create a wall that will prevent fires from wrapping around the building in the event of an anomaly. Rebar has been laid in preparation for concrete on this slope to the side. At the methane tank farm, the first section of blast wall has been poured, with rebar work for the next section well underway. Looking at the cryostations, we can see both cryostands are no longer at the site. More on that when we get to the build site. If we take a closer look at the ship cryostation, we can see that the old SQD plate and its mounting frame has been removed and is sitting on the ground nearby. Moving to the LOX farm, concrete has been torn out from under the liquid propellant tanks. The purpose of this is unclear at this stage. Finally, to recap Massey's events for the week, B18.3 conducted 2 cryo tests on the 14th and 15th of November. That's enough for Massey's. Let's fly over to Sanchez. Let's start with the labelled map so you can get your bearings. Beginning with the new ship transport stand section, we can see that the design has changed so that it can be placed on booster support bases rather than needing a separate base for the ship and booster. Moving up to the static fire stand maintenance platform, workers have begun installing the steel plating that will create the deck for the platform. You can see the hole they will use to access the platform. Above the container wall, progress continues on constructing the workstation platforms that will be installed in Mega Bay 2. The long-awaited ship QD arm extension has arrived at the site. We can see that it looks smaller when compared to the original one mounted on Pad A. It also looks lighter, which will help the arm retract faster during liftoff. To the left, we can see that the ship QD arm is looking very close to being rolled out, with its swivel joints and associated piping now installed. And indeed on the 19th of November, a few days after our flyover, the arm rolled out to the launch site. Finally, at the rocket garden, scaffolding has been installed around Booster 17 just above the common dome, and the chine covers have been removed in preparation for scrapping the booster. Just before moving to the build site, we'd like to thank all of our YouTube and Patreon members. Remember, all of our patrons get to participate in our Discord show and tell sessions on the same day of each flight. Here you can join in the discussions and ask your own questions. YouTube members also get to watch and listen in with a live chat function. Let's begin at the Gigabay. As always, steel columns continued to be placed to advance the footprint of the building. Moving to the middle partition wall, flat steel flooring has been placed. This is different to the other flooring panels installed on the outer 2 sides of the building that have corrugated panels. Now that we have a corner section of the building, we have a nice look at where the elevator shaft and staircase are located. Moving to Mega Bay 2, on the 15th of November, Ship 39's aft section was rolled in and stacked. This completes the stacking process of the first version 3 ship. A big thanks goes out to Lab Padre for this footage. To the left of the building, both the ship and booster cryostands can be seen. The booster stand is waiting for B18 to complete its pre-cryo outfitting, and the ship cryostand is waiting for test tank 39.1 to be finished in the Starfactory before it rolls out for aft structural verification testing. Here's a new labelled map of the launch site. Take a moment to pause the video to look over all the updates. Starting at pad 2, we can see the back hoods for both boosted quick disconnects have been installed. Just below, the gap in the cladding along the trench wall now reaches the ground. On top of the launch mount, the IB-proofing test fixture is in the process of validating the hold-down clamps. At the time of the flyover, it had been rotated 3 times. At the time of writing, 17 rotations had been observed. By the time this video is released, testing may have been completed. Moving to the edge of the launch site, the second blast door for the GSE structure is staged awaiting installation. Nearby, gravel is being placed at the location where the LR11000 will be placed for the upcoming installation of the SQD arm. The lifting equipment of the arm is seeing further preparation this week. The air compressors for the hoists are now hooked up. Looking above on the tower, additional scaffolding has been installed around the attachment points. The mount for the actuator on the tower has line boring equipment in place to machine the hole to receive the pin. Just to the right, a new bracket has been installed in one of the unused hinge point braces. Its purpose is unclear, but maybe for securing some of the pipe connections between the arm and the tower. Just over at the isolation and purge area, the actuator for the SQD arm is staged as well. Moving to the other side of the launch site, let's check in on the progress with the demolition of pad 1. The methane pump area is slowly being disassembled. The kettle reboilers remain, however much of the pipework near the front of the area has been removed. To the side, the 3 pill-shaped water tanks have been cleared of their pipework, as well as the 2 vertical Fire-X tanks. On what used to be the lock side, the pedestals for the kettle reboilers have been removed, leaving this area with little evidence that anything was there. A new horizontal tank has been staged near the methane tanks. We'll keep an eye on this in the coming weeks to determine its purpose. As we move closer to pad 1, the original fluids bunker quickly disappeared, leaving only a nice open space for staging as needed. Visible to where the back of it previously was, the main cryogenic supply pipes can be seen protruding from the concrete. Moving to the launch mount, there isn't much left of it following a week of heavy work. Only the 6 legs and limited remains of the ring are attached. To the side, several of the bridge sections cut out of the ring are waiting to be scrapped. In the days since the flyover, both staircases and pipeways have been removed. The first leg was weakened and pushed down on Sunday the 16th. With the rapid progress, additional legs are likely to be removed prior to this week's episode's release. Turning to the back of the tower, the drawwork structure has been completely removed, only the 2 short walls on either side remain. The newly acquired Tadano crane has been set up here this week, and has already been put to use by removing the cable chain for the chopsticks from the tower. That chain can be seen lying across the ground nearby. Looking closer at the chopsticks, what appears to be lifting tabs have been welded to the landing rails. This will need to be removed before they cut the ends off the chopsticks. The water deluge farm hasn't seen much activity in the last several weeks. However, some of the high-pressure nitrogen tanks have been removed from this stack near the valve manifolds. Finally, we finished this week at the air separation unit site. Pile driving appears to be finished on the larger side of the site. At the beginning of the week, the drill rig made its way to the thinner strip on the west side. The area in the middle of the site has been prepared with formwork and rebar cages to construct a compressor building according to site plans. The rest of the area to the east will be the remaining mechanical systems of the plant. With this new progress, it appears the tanks may be planned for the western side of the site. Well, that's all for this episode of Starbase Flyover Update. Thank you for choosing to fly with RGV Aerial Photography, and we hope you all enjoyed the flight. If you liked what you saw today, please subscribe for more episodes and content so you don't miss out on the new videos each week, and leave a thumbs up. To receive the latest images and to join in the conversation on the day they are taken, please consider joining RGV's Patreon. If you've made it this far, you can check out all the previous Flyover updates here. I'm Jeff A, and I'll see you next week from 6,000 feet.